As I told you, I'm making the program for the fashion school in Paris called ESMOD. So I met many times students, and these students have every time the problem to be more creative. They ask every time, do you have exercise or assignment or simple things to make my design more creative? So I just prepared today a few pictures of assignment. I'm going to try to explain to you that sometimes it's more easy than what you think to make some things really creative. So at first I wanted to talk with you about what is exactly creativity, but I think Lara did already. I'm not going to talk about again. So I'm going to start by explain my point of view of the creativity. So at first, the creativity for me, it's you need to imagine some things. That's some things that you don't know yet. So I just make that pictures. For me, the fashion must be funny. If you are boring in your job, maybe you should change your job. So that's why I try to make you laugh sometimes in my presentation. So creativity means you should imagine some things first that you maybe never see. Maybe all people gonna say to you, "Oh, it's déjà vu. I saw that already." But your generation, if your generation never see some things, and if you create some things for your target, for your generation target, means they're gonna buy that because also for them it's new. So, after you imagine it, you should do it. You should try. Always try. It's not every time working, but you have some things in your head, try to make it. You do it. It's just, it can be simple to set, but it's really like this. Then after you make it, you should explore all the possibility you have with these first things. So, I think you understand the point I want to go. It can be clear, and then after you explain, you explore all the possibilities with this, you should go further. So here you can see from Japan is the boiled egg, a sausage boiled egg. Yeah, it's something someone's thought about that before me because I could find really easily on internet. Anyway, do you know the first step I'm gonna talk about? It's collage. You know what means collage? Everyone, so I think you did already collage. So for the first year student, every time we start by collage, but we try to make them really making fun. I mean, it's not something serious. And then from that, the collage can be really useful for many things. I mean, here you can see you have I bring my stuff just in case because my finger is not big enough. Here you can see it's a guys where he wearing heel, so why not? Everything doesn't really match, but collage doesn't work only for the volume. I mean, you can just have a connection for the color or just the volume, or just the idea of mixing men's and women's to bring some things new. It can be really creative if you can make exactly the same things, but actually it's gonna be weird, so don't make it. But it can be really make lots of inspiration. After the real step for collage for us, it's making, first you're gonna choose a design here. Then you're gonna cut a part. Here, I just cut. And then here, you're gonna switch to another things. You're gonna put some things from the back. So, like this, it doesn't look really creative. So, for make more simple and more clear in your head, I choose here some things from a jacket. But if you take the same size of what you're gonna put on the back of your collage is not gonna work. So you have to change the size, make it bigger or bigger or bigger. And then after, you're gonna cut here in the center, and with Photoshop or any application on your smartphone, you're gonna make the symmetric stuff. And then you can see straightly what's gonna happen. And this is maybe too much creative, but after you can delete some line or just using some parts of a new jacket. And for me, this is more creative. If you make that, you are really a young designer with some things to sell. So that worked with jacket, but I also took some pictures that from a bag. So with the bag, it's making like this, so it's also working for the top. That's also a bag and another bag. So it means it's not only working with any items, so you can do some things interesting. After the window collage, this is maybe it's in my own world, I'm not sure it's really the name of that, but the window means you're gonna take basic item, and then you're gonna cut everything here, and you just keep the code of the jacket here, or the duffel coat here. If you have this and this on any item, you're gonna recognize that it's duffel coat or it's tuxedo jacket. You're right, everything is right. You can, even if there's nothing, you understand the item, right? So, and then I choose, in my universe, I like beige color, a bit used, it's natural. So that's, I'm gonna mix, and you're gonna see it's really easy again to make the collage. So if you put the jacket and another jacket, again you change the size, it's gonna be like this. Depend of you where you put the second jacket. So all this exercise bring new volume here and here, but it also you can imagine another cutting. You don't need, I mean, to make the volume here or here. You can just use simple here and an opening, a different opening here. It's just example, but that can bring you lots of idea. Just between this and this, you can make a collection in 5 minutes, maybe 6 or 7, but it can be really easily. So now the same jacket, but with the duffel coat. If you want in your collection have tuxedo and duffel coat, you can have. It's really easy. Bring here volume, here, and here an opening with pleats or something. So just the pleats can be really interesting on the design. This become more complicated, but it also can be an idea about having here a new sleeve, for example. After you must imagine here the side, what you're gonna see from the side. In ESMOD, every time we ask our students to think about what's gonna happen on your side, you know, like everyone went to fashion show, right? So long time ago, the VIP was in front of the catwalk, the runway. Now everyone is on the side. So if you go, for example, I really like Elisa Couture, and when the girls arrive, you're watching like this, she's amazing. And when she arrives in front of you, suddenly all the embroidery is finished. Why? I think there's no life after the side. So you should imagine here what's happened on the side for this kind of volume, or here, what's gonna happen. It's also interesting, there's splits, so you can imagine many things. Just making the same by flat drawing, you can make some things. So now, again, the duffel coat with another jacket. So it's, I agree with you, it's kind of too much. But if you give that, you don't need to redesign. I mean, if you give just these pictures to a pattern maker, he can make some things. He will understand. That's become more complicated, but I mean just this part you can use. You can make some things really interesting. This is maybe too much. Also here, if you give that to your pattern maker, he can make some things. And again, you can make a collection of duffel coat just having that. So I just took these two examples, but see, with the one jacket, I can make different things, and it's really easy. So tonight, maybe at home, you can try to make with your favorite item. Sometimes it's not working. It's really working with the top. If you try to make skirt, it's also working. If you try with trousers, sometimes it's not really work. Again, so I take many examples, but it's just to let you know that it's also working with the same jacket and same item. Details are interesting, and with the bag, with the pleats, you can also make some things really interesting on the new volume. The new volume of the jacket is really interesting. Simple stuff, making creative. You don't need to make clothes for Lady Gaga. I mean, you don't need to use meat or just use a bag. It's enough. And then after it's become really crazy. But you also can change the sizing. I mean, if you're using same side, same pictures. Sometimes you don't think about making something short, but this jacket can become a Spencer, and you're still in the atmosphere of your collection. So again, with the duffel coat. So I hope you understand what I want to say. This exercise now, I call it one cut. It's an exercise we give to the third-year student. We go, when I give this assignment to my student, I just come in the room in front of them, and you know how to work in 3D, right? You're in front of with a fabric, and then you try to make some things, right? You all try? No? Never? Okay, so you take some fabric, you put on the dummy, and some things happen. But usually it's not really happen when it just fabric put like this on your dummy. So the one cut exercise, they have the fabric and they can just cut one time in this fabric before put on the dummy. So like this it's not really interesting. But if you think a bit, the cutting, you don't need to cut like just straightly and put, if you put like this, it's just gonna be a big wave or a big flare, and it's just gonna be that. So nothing's gonna happen. But for, everyone know how to make cube, the pattern of the cube. You know, it's like a cross. You know that when we are baby, we make the cube like this. So for example, instead of cutting straight, you make the cross and cross and cross and cross and cross pattern like this, and then you cut on the shape of the cross. And then instead of taking a square, you're gonna take a cycle one. So if you have a cycle and then you cut one time and you have big wave, not interesting. If you cut the cross in the center and then the cycle, and so you're gonna make cube everywhere. You right? So cubes can become your belt, and then like it's a cycle, it can become a cycle skirt with cube in the belt. So it's look like weird, but it's creative, and this is become from your one cut way assignment. So I'm gonna show you some exercise that we did in our school in Kuala Lumpur. And then the inspiration at first was, because you need an inspiration, you cannot create if you don't have the first step free. I mean, you need an inspiration at least. You cannot create like suddenly, or maybe God can do, but the other one, I don't know. So the inspiration was just cutting it's Guggenheim in somewhere, I don't remember. Okay, we cut like this, and the student cut from here, and then after he sew. He just simply sew, and then, of course, at first it was only half, okay? He just put on his dummy, and with the computer, it just make the symmetric stuff. So, and then, like it's just a fabric, you can move on your dummy. So he moved, and the second one was like this. But I leave before he make the real one. But after he make a shirt with that. So here he put like some bracelet, some poignée. I don't know in English. Cuff. Well, exactly. So this for us, and here of course he put collar. But this is really creative or crazy, it's up to you. But this is really interesting item. It's not the things you can see in the street of Kuala Lumpur usually. But now you can see, so that means, and then he did like that in less than 1 day. I mean from morning to when he arrived, he didn't know that he's gonna leave evening with that kind of shirt. So for me, it's really interesting. We did also with different exercise. So every time it's half. It just this come from flower or something, and then it's another exercise every time. So here you can see everything was cutting and cutting and cutting, and then after we just put some sleeve finish, and this is creative. After some things we also ask, and this is really simple when you don't want to make crazy stuff like you see before with the collage and the blah 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 and the one cut crazy stuff. You can just delete some part of your pattern or stick your pattern to make one bigger pattern. And if you don't want to sew, for example, on the side, you just stick your pattern and it make bigger pattern, but you have less seam. So maybe if it's seamless, it costs less. So sometimes it's also interesting. So like you can see here, for example, we delete some part of the pattern. And then one of our students who won last year the dinar contest in France, that's the outfit here. And if you see from close, or maybe later you can come closer, he delete many parts here, and he delete also here. If you can see normally, you have a seam here. So he play with the both stuff. Sometimes he make the relief and the volume here. Oh, this doesn't work. Oh, no, okay. Here he make, and here he deletes. So that's interesting, I think. Here it's same. He start to delete the fabric here. He used 2 fabric, but he delete here, and more you go, here the seam is erased. So this is, it's look like simple, but for the pattern maker, you can die after. No, really, it look like simple, but it's make people crazy. Here it's same. You don't know if it's the skirt or the bag, and everything is also included the jacket and the shirt here. So look simple, but finally erasing the line, it finally look like simple in your head or on the paper, but when you have to make it like this, it's really difficult. So it's difficult exercise, but the idea is simple. Same for the trench coat. Here you have the collar, but it disappears. The darts disappear, and it's fake collar. And then the second collar come from here, actually. This one is another line, come from here. So interesting part, deleting. Same for here. I don't know. You can see well or you cannot see everything, because the interesting part, if it's here, finally, the dots disappear and it make a fake jacket on the coat. So here he wanted to make the fabric disappear, so he used a needle punch. You know what's needle punch? No one know? No, you don't know. So the needle punch, you take wool that you put down your fabric, and then you're gonna use some things with many needle, and then you just punch like this, and the needle gonna bring up the wool from down to the top. But yeah, it's lots of work to do it by hand. There's some machine you can buy to make it like this. It's also a big tough job to do that. After, the pattern game is kind of the same things I was explaining before. Means you should have fun in your job. As the designer or as the patterner, if you don't have fun, your job gonna be boring quickly. Because when you're a student, okay, you have your own collection, it's fun, blah, blah, blah. After, when you start working for someone, even if it's your own brand, you should quickly having fun with what you're doing. So pattern game for me is also kind of stick or using anything around you to making clothes. So here my inspiration is that, you know, it's for child, you're doing that and it's going somewhere. So if you try to make the pattern of this shape here, or usually it's small, it's big like this, so you have to make in big size. But if you can make exactly the same size, you can make like this. Of course, it's weird to wear like this, but it's really creative, and maybe if you choose nice fabric, it's work. So it's work here with one fabric, because it's art fabric, but if you want to take soft, like knit, it's gonna be like this. So it's almost same, but it's different way of wearing it. So sometimes just changing the fabric to another one and not using from first the dummy, you can make some things really crazy, and it can be a new design. I mean, if I make the pattern of this table, put hole and wear, it's gonna be some things. It's clothes because I can wear, and the shape gonna be crazy with the hard fabric. If I switch to soft, it's gonna be melting. Je sais pas si melting is not the good one, but it's gonna be like this, like the pictures. After, you can make random flare. Means you're gonna just have an inspiration of wave or something. Then you're gonna cut, open, and cut, open. And then that's gonna make some things. So the inspiration is this, and then here, you know, you cut, and just open here, open, and then when you sew, it's gonna be this. So the pattern is here. It's kind of easy stuff to do, and then you can make some things from here, like this. So that is not nice. You can delete that normally. If you follow the presentation, this you should erase. So you should mix the assignment. Maybe it was bad student. Who is that? I won't remember his name. So same. You can make with just a simple cutting. You cut here in the fabric. You're making hole. And then here you're gonna put we say lien, a yarn, and make gather. And then just with this, but depend. I put in the center, but it's not maybe the good things. You can have here and the whole here, and then it's gonna be because something's different. So just same fabric, different area. So that's when I said you're working by 3D, you're doing by fabric that you change on the table, making some things on your table before put on your dummy, and then you one time is sleeve, one time is skirt, one time is another things, dress or coat